you go down like it, but you have to be there before 7 stars showed, see? Then they'd have the draw, you first, you second, you
How the draw for the how does the draw work in it?
Cup, like, we'd all have a tab like that.
In numbers on?
Cup, right. And whoever's in the positions then would get ready. And once the 7 stars are gone, you're supposed to start then, see?
Why do you need 7 stars? Why do you need 7 stars?
That's when they decided it's dark. Like say, one of them would say, it's dark enough now. No, it's not. Look, the stars are there. But once the stars are gone, then I don't know what they do on a starry night. It'd be all night.
Yeah, or a cloudy night. Yeah.
But that was.
But your old man is to stick to it.
Well, and the thing was in Di's day really, as well as Snowy's, that they were 12 pairs, and everybody. I'm sure there were arguments at some stage, but everybody would cater for everybody else. And what I noticed over the last few years, even though there's less Coracle numbers, there's always bickering about who starts where and when, and they can't get on with it, and
there was unwritten rules which, well, perhaps that shouldn't be said, but there was unwritten rules which everybody stood by. And that was right then, and there was elders there. It was Snowy, especially Malcolm's father, Raymond, who was very much for the rules, the tradition and the rules, which was the right thing, and that's how it was. That's how I fished, and it was. And for me, once that started changing, and you had, well, I was an outsider, and in fact, Snowy would have been an outsider. But once you had people that didn't respect that, to come into it, didn't respect that, then who were ignorant to that, or more interested in catching fish rather than the whole process of being there and part of something which is where, it's plenty of people go and play golf or play rugby or do that, but there's not many have got the opportunity and perhaps people want to do it, but to be able to do that, I think it's a fantastic thing to be able to do that. This is part of Welsh tradition, but there are a certain small minority that they're only interested in this.
There's only us.
There's only us, yes.
When I started,
once you went off, started fishing, then things started to change in the wrong way, really.
The ones I seen that used to make the rules, because the fathers had made them before them, and this, were the ones that were breaking them. Yeah. I would never broke the rules at all. But
well, when he's there, when Snowy was there, Snowy was like the general, that if there was a quarrel or a squabble, then they'd ask Snowy, and if Snowy said that's the way it is, that's the way it was. Okay, yeah. And that's what we've lost now, really, on the Towie.
There's an elder, a chief.
A chief, a king of the Towie really is the elder, and once he packed in, there isn't anyone then that can take over the mantle, and that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Yeah.
And my father was a stickler for the rules, and he went to a public inquiry, and he stood in the public inquiry, and they said, Mr. Rees, you fish, you fish. You don't just fish when there's 7 stars. So what you're telling us is not correct. You fish when you want to fish, and you fish in the day. You fish when you say you don't. And my father stood there and he said, no, I can categorically tell you that we don't fish. We don't fish in the day. And then so he won the inquiry anyway. The day after, he goes down the river to have a look at the water, and who was there fishing in the day was his own brother. Brian was fishing there, right? And they quarrelled about that for bloody years, and
but you're a very good fisherman.
And Brian then, you see, would my father was the stickler for the rules, and Brian didn't really care. Well, he did, but he would fish when he wanted to. you've got to stay 200 yards apart.
200 yards apart, see?
From each car. So your each starting station has got to be 200 yards apart. And what you do is you have a common sense, courteous approach to the people behind you and the people in front of you. And that's gone a little bit now because the numbers of fish are not there, and everybody that's fishing there is trying to cover the costs, and they want as much river exposure as they can get, and that as you know, that's crept into the fraternity, if you want
spoiled it
a little bit. And you know, these guys, they were all the 12 licenses, and I don't suppose there was ever 12 in one night. So was
yes.
There was it?
Oh,
But everyone would be catching, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You know, everyone
And
would
not
have.
only
But there was
the
comradeship
first
then. There was comradeship, and obviously there was a competition. But it's a nice competition. You know what I mean? Nice competition in that respect.
See, about 10 of them would do it. 2 of them then, like Clive Evans and the Billy Boys, they'd go on further, so they were out of it. So there's only 10 left, actually. And then for somebody else will go around. You know, it all balanced out, and everybody was fair, like,
No animosity.
No, not.
It is funny, right? The worst thing as a coracle fisherman, and you know, we've all encountered it. Maybe not Snowy as much, but when you see the coracle in front of you when the torch comes on, right? You know that they're about to pull a fish in, and then you're next, so you're fishing behind them, and you haven't caught nothing, and you look behind you like that, and the people behind you have got the lights on.
Yes, you start panicking.
So-
What's going wrong?
Just that you all met him,
Yeah. So then you start having questions then about what are you doing wrong, but more importantly and more realistically, it's what your partner, the other side, is doing wrong. You see, and that comes into the. So it's all a bit of mind games, a lot of it, you know.
But they think that the fish that come straight up the river like that. They're not like that. They're going. You see them rowed in sometimes.
Yeah.
Rowed into.
Well, everybody. When I was fishing, he was the marker. Well, his nickname was, besides Snowy, he was the Hoover. Right?
The fish.
So, what Snowy would do, he'd fish when you weren't living too far away, so he'd fish. So he'd watch what you were having. If you were having and we were not having, he'd go home. And what I'd say, you'd have a big breakfast at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So he's gone home, there's nothing here. So everybody'd go home, including myself, except perhaps on a Friday. He'd come back out when the river settled then. Because the fish go into the side and the fish come out and he'd have like...
You showed them like?
Yeah.
I've done it often.